In 1994, 20th Century Fox and Turner Pictures released a live-action animated hybrid film titled The Pagemaster. All of the reviews were poorly received. Macaulay Culkin, the star of the movie, was nominated for a Razzie Award as Worst Actor. Roger Ebert called it a sad and dreary film. I personally think that this movie is the total opposite. It's actually one of my favorite movies growing up, not just because of nostalgia, but because of other reasons. The Pagemaster is about a boy named Richard Tyler, who bases his life around statistics and has a fear of everything. He then goes on a bike ride to do his father a favor, only to be stranded by a thunderstorm. He goes inside the library and meets the librarian, Mr. Dewey, played by Christopher Lloyd. He mistakenly thought Richard arrived for a certain book. And here, Richard starts his magical journey of becoming an illustration and befriending 3 books: adventure, fantasy, and horror. As I said before, this film is one of my favorites. It was hated by many critics, but I truly think differently. Here are my 3 reasons why. One of the reasons I love this movie is how fun and thrilling the journey is. The way the movie started the journey was the most memorable. The paintings on the ceiling in the beginning melted and started manifesting into a dragon-like beast. And then it became a river of paint that chases Richard around the center of the library. It is right there that he becomes an illustration and meets the Pagemaster himself, voiced by Christopher Lloyd. Yes, the one who was Mr. Dewey from early on. And here is where it all starts. As I said, the journey is fun and thrilling. When it comes to this film, immediately I think about the characters. Despite fearing everything, Richard is somebody I can connect with. He started out as an outsider with a bunch of kids teasing him. You cannot really blame him for the fact that he lacked confidence in the world. The book characters, adventure, fantasy, and horror are just as likable. Adventure is a swashbuckler who tries his absolute best to protect his allies. Fantasy, though may lose her temper at times, is the more encouraging type of the 3. And horror just wants to be everyone's friend. If that isn't likable, I don't know what is. Like most kids' movies, this does provide a moral and a lesson to be learned. At first, people automatically thought that the moral of the story is that you should read more. But that's not the lesson I've learned from watching the movie. The real lesson is facing your fears and being strong. As mentioned before, Richard has a huge fear of everything and relies on statistics to cope with life. Going on this big journey changed him in such a drastic way that he actually outgrew the things that he dreaded most of all. Telling the viewer to read isn't what the writers want out of this film. Facing your fears and staying strong is an excellent lesson to learn. You can't be afraid all the time. And that's the 3rd reason why I love The Pagemaster. So there you have it. Those are my reasons why The Pagemaster is one of my favorite movies. Possibly my favorite non-Disney movie that came out in the 90s. I highly recommend this to everyone.